and welcome to CSEL Conversations. Today we have a very special guest. Dr. Brenda Dobia is a psychologist, educator, and social ecologist with a background in clinical psychology and cultural studies. She works with community organizations to design, implement, and evaluate initiatives in mental health, social emotional learning, and respectful relationship education. Particular emphasis on trauma-informed and strengths-based practices. She's also an adjunct fellow at Western Sydney University. And through all of her work, she maintains a deep commitment to social justice and decolonizing practices.
First thing that I think is really important is that we should be supporting young people's social emotional development. And that's where we need to be somewhat nuanced and flexible, because kids don't develop in the same way, in the same trajectory. They are affected by very many things, which will influence how they relate socially, influence their emotions. If we try and translate that development into a school setting, it doesn't necessarily follow the right trajectory or the right sequence for those young people. And I think where it can become a little tricky is when it gets translated into here's the package and here's what you should be teaching. And I've certainly seen what often happens is, okay, so we're implementing all our best practice, and then there's a group of young people who don't respond well. And instead of having the tools to say, okay, this means we need to actually break it down more, we need to spend more time, we need to do something different, we need to build the rapport with those young people, they kind of get further marginalized. And so an example, I actually had an example today because I've been working in doing respectful relationships education, which has certainly a lot of overlap with social emotional learning. And we were asked to do some online work directly into the school. So some of the young people were acting out a little bit. That's normal for me. I would expect that. So if I encounter that, I need to use my social emotional skills to actually rebuild the relationship with them. What tends to happen, or what happened today, was because the teachers didn't know what to do, those students who were being a little disruptive, I'm sure they would have settled if given the right kind of conditions. And I understand it from the teacher's point of view. They just wanted the kids, the young people, to settle. But instead of that, they sent them out of the class, which, so the others can do it. But it's most likely those young people who were sent out are the ones who most need the skills. So again, I'm not saying there's a magic wand and that young people with that level of difficulty are necessarily easy to manage in a general classroom. But, approaching it that way, which commonly happens in schools, or, teaching social emotional skills as in a kind of, with grading attached to it, where you've already got a social setting where young people feel that there's certain ones who are achievers, certain ones who are the good kids, certain ones who get the privileges, and maybe they don't. So if you get that same sort of dynamic, then you wind up with the ones who most need it being the ones who least connect with it.